That's all
Hey
right.
guys, once again,
Hey,
we're
hey,
back on Mothers Unfiltered, getting unfiltered with you on this Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know
Super
if
Bowl
anybody is
Sunday.
representing a certain team. Anybody here representing a certain team? I'm
uh,
not.
uh,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I always represent my New York Giants no matter what. So,
Me
you know,
too. Me too. But they're not playing.
but they're
But
not
who's,
playing.
wait, who's playing? Who's playing?
Right.
Bu-
The Chiefs and
Buccaneers,
the
Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, and Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I
Um,
know that. But with that being said, it's so funny. Let me get into all that after I let Ty do her little intro and everything. So go
See, you were really catching me off guard today. All
ahead. Go ahead. You can swing it back.
right, so whenever you guys tune in, welcome, thank you. Am I echoing? Why do I sound like I'm echoing?
You're fine on our end.
Okay, welcome, thank you for tuning in, all new folks, all of our regular subscribers and viewers. We love you guys. Yeah. Do not forget, if you have not done it, press the like button, subscribe, share the alert button, get in, do a watch party, promote, help the team, do what we do. And back to you, Kia.
Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Dr. King McCray. We're
Absolutely.
coming back on. We're going to properly introduce you in a second. But let me just make a couple of points. Even though today is Super Bowl Sunday and some people are tuning in, I had a couple people say, wow, the Super Bowl's on today. You're going to do your podcast. And I said, well, it's either me promoting the show and talking about stocks and how to make money or watch millionaires live out their dreams and sit there like, man, I wish I had a couple of coins in my pocket. So I'd
Right.
rather see what I got going on this way than
That's it.
Super Bowl started at 6:30, so you could have, watched that. And who hasn't seen The Weeknd perform,
Right. At some point in their life. Yeah.
But with that being said, I also want to give, today, this month is Black History Month, and I always said that each Sunday I was going to give a little bit of history for us. So on February the 7th, 1904, a Black man named Luther Hobart and an unidentified Black woman are tortured, mutilated, and burned alive in front of 600 picketing white spectators in the Dobbsville, Mississippi. So this is definitely our history. So more, it's a terrible thing about our history, but at the end of the day, it's something that we have to know in order to go to our future. We have to know our path. But thank you once again, Dr. King, for coming in and talking to us about investments. And I was like, man, I need somebody to talk about this. It was such an important subject because
Yes.
last week or a week and a half ago, if I'm not mistaken, if you're watching the news, if you're watching social media, it was like this big blurb about investments. Well, we're going to get into that, but I want
Yes.
everybody to know who you are. Please promote your business right now because I said this is the opportunity for Black businesses to shine. So introduce yourself and then we can get into the whole investments.
Absolutely. Again, I appreciate both of you all. I love you very much. I thank you for this opportunity to, come back on here again and just kind of talk about investments, talk about stocks, why you should invest. We definitely will get into, what happened over the last 2 weeks and why it was such a big deal. But my name is Dr. King McCray. I am the president and founder of McCray Wealth Management. We are a full service. Please excuse my son. Stop. Sorry. Hey, we family, right? So this is how it goes down, right? Mother's
It's
unfiltered with a father in the case, right?
We unfiltered.
But yeah, so Dr. King McCray, I am the president and founder of McCray Wealth Management. We are a full service wealth management and financial planning firm. We also deal with tax planning, retirement planning, so on and so forth. I have been in the business for quite some time now, but I am here to give you all knowledge, right? To answer your questions, give you insight. And I think that's what a lot of people need, especially right now. And that's one of the main reasons why I wore this sweatshirt tonight, because I do live in Florida and it is hot as hell outside. But invest, right? So these are a lot of things that we don't do as a community. We don't invest. And even if we do, we don't do it properly. right?
Mhm.
So that's one thing that, you know, we'll also kind of talk about tonight. But again, McCray Wealth Management, that's who we are. That's what we strive on. We want to build generational wealth, and we create your blueprint for financial success. So
thank you, thank you, thank you once again.
yes.
So, like I mentioned a week and a half ago, if people are following social media, the news, they heard about this whole thing with GameStop, and I want to touch into that, but I want to take baby steps because a lot of people are just getting into the whole stock market thing.
Right.
And so I just want to start with the really simple basics. What are stocks? What is the stock market? And should I invest?
Okay. So
3 questions.
right. So first and foremost, what is a stock? So a stock is your ownership into a company, right? So let's say if I own one share, okay, or one stock of, let's just call Walmart, right? I'm an owner of that company. I have a small ownership. I'm what's called a shareholder of that company. I get to vote on specific things that the board of directors will allow me to, whether it's going to be voting in new members, voting in a name change, things of that nature, right? So that's what a stockholder is able to do. The stock market is a big picture. Okay. So I want you to think of stock market kind of like a restaurant. Okay. There's so many different ones, right? There's so many different brands. There's so many different food items in that market, right? Or in that, or we call it a grocery store, right? There's so many different food items inside that grocery store. It's similar to a market. So you have the New York Stock Exchange, obviously you have the Dow Jones, S&P 500, so on and so forth. You got the international markets and everything else. What a stock market is, or what a market allows you to do, is buy companies or stocks, bonds, get into mutual funds, ETFs, things of that nature. You're able to get in all of those entities or companies and allow yourself ownership, growth, dividends, which is something that we'll talk about, and just really trying to understand what it is and why you should invest, which leads to the third question. Should you invest? You absolutely should invest because it's very important for your financial future. You know, a lot of us talk about building generational wealth, but we don't even know the first thing about how to do so. Okay. So that's one of the big pieces that we need to understand. And I say we, but I say that as from a generational standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, from a male perspective, a female perspective, whatever it may be, there are a lot of things that we need to do to continue to invest to make sure that we are wealthy and we do understand what our worth is.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that the reason why and of course this has to do with our past, but do you think the reason why we're not heavily invested because there's some type of maybe a stigma or some type of thing where we're like, man, you have to have a lot of money to invest, like I don't got no money. I got a couple of coins here and there.
Right.
I heard somebody invested $10,000 and they made that. I mean, I don't have 10, like what happens when people have this? I mean, is that a rumor? Is that real?
So yeah. So I'm not gonna, if we look down history, right? It wasn't more so of we couldn't invest, we had a lack of knowledge. Okay. And the purpose now is that, okay, we have the knowledge, but how do I apply it? So, we always heard that knowledge is power, and I don't, that's not the correct statement. It's applied knowledge is power, because you're going to get educated today, right? Whoever's listening, whoever is within the sound of my voice is going to get educated today, but the knowledge that I'm giving you has to then be applied. Yeah. If you don't apply the knowledge, then therefore we essentially have done nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So through history, we were seeing other races, right? Quite naturally continue to get rich, continue to get wealthy. And it was all from doing one thing. And I'm not going to harp on this too much because I don't want people to think that I just, push life insurance, because that's not what it is. But that's exactly what they did, right? Billy Joe ended up getting a life insurance policy on himself. He passed away. He gave it into, his inheritance to his son. His son, therefore, did the same thing, and so on and so forth. But the African-American race or minorities as a whole, there's a lot of us that don't believe in that. I actually did a Wealth Wednesday on Clubhouse, right, the other day. And we talked about, if you think about the amount of people, let's say, for instance, gangbangers and drug dealers, right? Mm-hmm. The amount of them that die on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, right? Mm-hmm. If each one of them had $100,000 life insurance policy, how that would reinvest back into the community, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. How that would continue to boost up gentrification, but we can keep our own land. right? Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
huge, right?
That's
So
deep. Yeah.
yeah, so we're actually doing a study on that right now. We're coming up with the numbers, but I wanted to look at it from a standpoint of, if an insurance company realized that in our community we had multiple people dying, right? Whether you're a drug dealer, not a drug dealer, whatever it may be, multiple people dying in our communities, but we each had at least a minimum of $100,000 in life insurance, and we're reinvesting that back into the community, then the insurance companies would get involved, right?
Mhm,
The Fortune
mhm.
500, the Fortune 50, the
Of course,
Fortune
they have
100s.
regulations because we're making
Exactly.
money now. Yeah.
Because we're giving you a boost in your money, right, and your profits, and so therefore you're going to come back into the community and do what you need to do for us. So that is a huge standpoint that we need to realize, is that being wealthy and getting that generational wealth starts with something as little as a life insurance policy, right, or
Mhm.
beginning to invest even further. So that's a huge standpoint of where we need to start, and then continue to grow from there.
So one quick thing, when I was in college, I remember when I first took my first college course about business 101, when they talked about stocks, they said, stocks was like gambling. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, and I love to gamble. My hands get to itching because my grandmama said that's when the money coming.
Right.
And so
Left
with
hand,
that,
right?
yeah. And so with that being said, I know a lot of people, especially maybe in the church, more conservative African Americans, they're like, I don't really want to gamble with my money. These are my coins. I have these funds specifically for this. I call myself saving here and here, $5 here, $5, but I don't want to take a big risk.
Right.
Aren't the risk factors when it comes to stocks very high versus, something else?
I honestly, I have a love-hate relationship with that question. Because is there risk? Absolutely. But the risk is deemed based upon the reward that you want, right? There's low risk, which means that you get a low return. Then there's high risk, which means that you will get a much higher return, but of course your loss can be great as well. So I forgot to answer one part of your questions from the last question. Let me answer that, please. You said, do I need a lot of money to invest? You actually don't. Okay. I'm not going to say one of the companies that, cause some of this ruckus, so we're not going to bring them up until later when we talk about that.
Can't
But
wait.
I'll talk about another company. So there's a company called Stash, right? STASH, and a lot of my clients, I push them to that. You can buy fractional shares of a company for a very small factor. Excuse me. You could get $5 and say, "Hey, I want to invest in Tesla," even though Tesla is at $700, $800 a share right now, right? You can say, "But you know what? $5 is all I have. That's what I want to put in. That's what I want to invest at this particular moment." That's called buying a fractional share. That's something that you can do that will help and will continue to boost and bolster on to the future. So I believe that that is very important when we say, I don't think I have enough money to invest, but you actually do. Okay. That leads us then back to, where's your money going? Okay. That's a much deeper conversation.
Yeah.
You know what money's coming in, you know what money's going out. If you don't have any money to invest, then you're not paying yourself first. That's what I preach, right? Pay yourself first. Before I pay any bills, I pay myself first. When money hits my bank account, I'm taking my 10% and I'm putting that into my IRA. I'm taking my additional, whatever it may be, $100, $200, and I'm putting that into my Roth IRA, right? Then I take $50 for each kid, put that into their own, trust account. And then from there, everybody else gets paid, because me and mine have to get paid first, right? So to come back and circle back around to risk, there is risk, right? There absolutely is a ton of risk that is out there. But you have to be able to understand how to manage that risk, right? And if you don't know how, that's where somebody like me comes into play. Shameless plug, right? I don't mind saying it. You need a financial advisor. You need somebody, a wealth manager, that's going to help you understand what it looks like. And we cater our fees to the middle and lower class, because we understand that that's who we're trying to boost, right? That's who we're trying to help. If you say, hey, I can't afford you taking 1.5% of my assets, that's fine. Let's look at maybe $50 a month, $75 a month. Let me help you get to that level, right? But you got to understand, you got to give a little to get some, right?
Yeah.
And that's you putting your own skin in the game and saying, I believe in you. I know that you can get me to the next level. We will work it into your budget, because that's what we do. We find out how much money you have coming in. We see how much money you have going out. We look at your expenses and we say, hey, you actually have a a bucket or a window of this X amount of dollars, right? This funny money. So you can afford me and you can afford to invest, but you may have to give up something else, right? You may
Mhm.
have to stop spending so much money on Starbucks. You may have to spend so much, stop spending so much money going out. But it's going to get you to start realizing and nitpicking every dollar and every cent that goes out because it's important. We have to start understanding the value of that dollar. A dollar only stretches so far, 100 cents.
Right.
That's all you get. Okay. That's all you get in a dollar. But if you learn how to factor in, okay, where can my 100 cents go? Where can my dollar go? Where can my 4 quarters go, or whatever it may be? You start to realize how much money and how much buying power you actually have, and how valuable you are.
We need this is so much in the hood. Like it's funny because we talk about who needs this information, right? And how we're getting it to them. So as I'm listening to you speak, I'm thinking about we have all these other programs, anti-violence programs, sexual assault, domestic violence programs embedded in the hood. But why don't we have programs that give
Well, we can answer that question. I think all three of us can answer the question.
Why when we have street outreach in these communities,
Right.
are we not giving out this type of information?
Right.
Well, before you answer that question, Dr. King, I want to put this comment out here that Liz said, which is it kind of ties in. People that are constantly in survival mode only ever see the now, which is why their entire future will only ever be survival mode.
Liz, come on. Yes.
It's crazy. She says that it's true. I was listening to Yana Van Zet, and she was saying how she went bankrupt. And she was saying initially she went bankrupt because she was living paycheck to paycheck, even though she was a millionaire. Because that mindset from the past, she used to be on welfare and these different things and living paycheck to paycheck. And just because you have money coming in, that mindset has to change. Right. So to add to that question that Ty just made about, how come you don't find any financial programs in the hood? Once they're there, because I guess nowadays, now it's 2021, you may hear hit a bit. And then plus we have the internet. What is the key of changing the mindset so we can feel comfortable about investing money?
Right. So honestly, I'm not gonna say I know. It's gonna start within. Okay. And I say this again, and I said this, the last time that I had this segment with you all. People are only gonna want to change if they realize the value in themselves. Okay. People are only gonna want to change if they realize the values in themselves. And I say that with I preface that with the fact that we all want to be wealthy, but we don't want to do the work to get there.
You better preach one time.
Okay.
You better preach one time for the people in the back. Okay.
But seriously, we all want to be wealthy, but we don't want to do the work to get there, right? Whether we are a W-2 employee, 1099 contractor, a self-employed business owner, whatever it may be, a lot of us want to get wealthy, but we don't want to do the work to get there. We don't want to do the due diligence of actually creating a budget, creating a game plan, following it, sticking to it, right? Get a vision board or whatever it may be. We don't want to invest, right? We don't want to see our dollars go to the side. I mean, I just moved money today to my IRA. Did I want to move that money? Absolutely not. But I know that I needed to because I have a future that I see for myself, right? And even if I end up not being in that future, well, where does that money go? It goes to my kids, right? So I am still instilling a future into them. So my dollars are still stretching and they're still growing. And this is honestly something that I deal with every single day because I am tired. I am tired of battling people to see the value, not only in me helping them, but the values in themselves. I'm tired of it.
My brother, I wish I could give you a connection. I know I'm in Florida with you, but let me just go ahead and
But like I'm but I am, and that leads me to what Ty said is that how come we don't see it? It's because we don't want it. We don't really want it. We say we want it, but we don't want it, right? If I could, I can tell you that. How many other, listeners we have, or, how many other people is on the show right now, I could say, hey, I could go to every single one of them and say, I know that you need my services, but you're not going to pay for me because you feel like you can't afford me, or you feel like that you don't need me, or that you can do it on your own, or that you can find the information on the internet, or whatever it may be. And then you fall to the wayside and then you go right back into the same mode. And then 10 years from now, you're still questioning, well, why am I not wealthy? Why
I
am I
run into
not doing
I
the
run
things that I
into
need to
a
do?
lot of people too who I guess it's like that timing thing too. Like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
going to do it. I'm going to call you. Yeah, I seen the financial, but I got to do the right.
Yeah.
Not the time. Give me a couple of months, and then those months keep getting pushed back, pushed back.
You
That's like
have
the same thing as trying to
that
say about having a baby, right?
you
That's
really
like
do.
that's like the same thing, right? It's like the same thing as saying, I don't know when I'm gonna have a baby. It's not the right time. It's never gonna be the right time. I want to be
Right.
prepared. You're never gonna be prepared. You will never be prepared to have another kid. You won't. Period.
No.
If it's your first one or your last one, you will never be prepared. I don't care how much you do. I don't care if you got 10 kids and this is number 10. You coming on number 10, and you're like, you know what? I got 9 other kids. I'm ready. I know everything to do. And then boom, number 10 comes, and you losing your mind. You will never be ready. You will never be prepared. But you gotta get ready, right? And you gotta get in the game. That's the only way that you're gonna win, right? You gotta get in the game. You gotta play it. You gotta, you gotta be ready to compete.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so funny that you said that, and I'm gonna ask my question, but I just want to make a comment first. I happen to be talking to my husband about the W-2s and these things, and I was looking over and I seen his pay stub, and I was like, what's them figures I see into the Roth account? The Roth account? He was like, you don't want to be eating cat food when you're in your I was like, no, I don't want cat food when I get older. Thank you, sir.
Right.
So thank you, husband out there who's investing in the Roth account. But
right.
But I wanted to say when I started investing, when I started hearing about cryptocurrency, because for me, I don't want to have a negative spin on being an opportunist. I think when you jump on something that's, when you hear it's hot, I guess.
Hey,
yeah. So anyway,
if it's working, it's working.
If you're doing it in the right way, that's
I'm not hurting anybody. So anywho, I'm hearing a little buzz in the street, and I think everything is going electronic in these things. And where's our future lying? And a lot of times people do now the electronic money through the phone, like I could cash app you and these things. And I'm like, well, what is this whole cryptocurrency? So I invested. I remember I just put $30 in. This is about a couple of years back. I put $30 in and it went down to 11 cents. I was like, oh. Now when I invest, I was like, it's a loss. Yeah. But at this very moment, that $30 of investment that went to 11 went all the way up, like that Joe was saying. And so I'm very happy in my
Can I just interrupt you really quick? I'm gonna tell you where I messed up, and this circles back to exactly what you were saying earlier, Kia, about and Dr. McCray about people saying I'll do it. I'll do it. When MySpace was out, is when I heard about Bitcoin.
Oh, you going back now?
MySpace, if I remember correctly, is when I heard about Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I was told to invest then. I was told to invest. I remember sitting at my computer, not computer, and I'm looking at Bitcoin. We're having a whole conversation about, and I think it started with the gambling apps like the poker and stuff like that. I'm not wrong. I heard it back then.
Well, what did you do?
And let me tell you.
Okay, but did you do it?
Look, let me tell you.
Yes.
Broke. You know what I'm saying? I ain't broke, but the money I could have had invested during the MySpace. I
let me put my pinky up.
Right.
Shame on you. Shame on you, child.
but this is important.
It is.
Again, because I knew about it back then. And had I educated myself, went out to educate myself, had someone like you to educate me, me and my family probably would not be in the position we're in. We're not in a bad position. We're not in a bad position at all, but we could have been in a better position. Where I'm striving to be now, I could have been already had I invested in it.
Well, can you tell the audience about this cryptocurrency? Because especially for people who are, maybe up there in age and our seniors, and they're like, hey, all this stuff is moving so fast. They used to do Western Union all the time, but now it's a simple Cash App, Venmo, whatever. You got,
PayPal,
yeah. So can you just explain a little bit about the whole crypto?
Yeah, so cryptocurrency or blockchain, cryptocurrency is basically technology. Okay, that's the best way that I like to explain it. Cryptocurrency is a technology that allows you to invest into a blockchain or into grouping. They also have like Compound and so on and so forth. Different, so many different platforms that you can get into. But what cryptocurrency is primarily going to be the wave of the future. It's not going to be the only thing in the future, just because there will always be somebody out there that likes to have their hand on cash, right? Cash is still going to be king at some point in somebody's life. But cryptocurrency will allow you to invest. But when you start investing in cryptocurrency, kind of like Kia said, really when you start investing as a whole, I want you to only invest what you're willing to lose. So again, if you know that you're putting money away, invest that money with the mindset of there's a high possibility that I will lose this money, depending on what you invest in, right? Because you can invest in CDs, you can invest in TIPS, which is Treasury inflation protection. You can invest in government securities. Those things are very, very safe, right? Money market accounts, very, very safe. You're not going to earn a lot, but they're very, very safe. You got some bonds that are very, very safe, right? Bonds have a coupon, which is basically interest. Okay. And these are all things that I teach you, I teach you about, right? So you come on to be a client, we talk about all these different things. I'll tell you what a coupon is, what interest is and all that jazz. But so like Kia, I got in on crypto early on. And I saw that wave of it went all the way up here, then it went all the way down. Then just, last month we hit $40,000 high, and it was like, hey, maybe I did something right. But you have to look at but you also have to look at the power of social media right now. Okay. And that's one thing that I want people to understand when it comes to investing. You have to, and I know we'll get into this, but you have to understand the power of social media and how it plays such a pivotal role in investing. For instance, what is it? Dogecoin.
Okay, so that's been trending on Twitter.
When you hear the hot
right. So Musk, right? Elon Musk went out here and was like, what did he say? He said something about
it was the way to go, pretty much.
Yeah, let me get the exact quote real quick.
Because I
watching but wait a minute, and not even that. Again, what you're mentioning social media, and you're talking about cryptocurrency, and we're talking about the Dodge, but on Twitter, what's trending is Dodge Hold, and Dodge Bowl. So they're it's like Super Bowl versus the Dodge, Bowl,
right.
And hold in something. So what do they mean by that? Like hold, I guess, don't sell it.
So that's what hold means, right? So hold means hold on to the asset, right? Don't buy anymore, don't sell anymore, just hold it. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to start another frenzy. Okay. Yep. Let's just be honest. Elon Musk tweeted, who let the Doge out? Okay.
Yep.
And that started a wave of just madness. So like today, it's up 46% today. But if you go out and look at what it is, Dogecoin is at 0.0826 cents right now. 0.0826, but it's still up again 46%. So it's been going up ever since he said something about it, and it's been causing a continued frenzy. But that's why the hold is out there. So people are saying don't fall into the trap, just hold, right? Hold what you have, and then if it does go up, great. Catch it before it goes back down, sell out, you got a profit. So that's one thing that, again, the power of social media can cause such a frenzy, and that's what happened with like GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry. So let's jump into that, because I want to explain it where people understand what it is. So okay, so what happened was, and we're gonna break this all the way down to in like terminology that you can understand, which I know I know that both of you understand, but I want to make sure everybody understands. So let's say that Kia owns a stock, right? So Kia owns how many ever shares of GameStop, and I went to Kia and said, hey Kia, you hold that stock because you think the price is going to go up, but I think the price is going to go down. So I'm short the position, which means I think it's going to go down. Kia is long the position. She thinks it's going to go up. I say, hey, Kia, let me borrow your stock at $10. I'll borrow it from you because I think it's going to go down. So I'm short the position. Okay.
Mhm.
Kia's like, no, I'm going to hold on to it because I'm long. It's going to go up. So what happened is, so, okay, hold on. Let me do it this way. So let's say if it did go down, right? It went down. Let's say it was $10 a share. I got it from Kia. I borrowed it, right, from Kia for $10. Kia then gave it to me. I saw the price go down. I said, hey, Kia, here's your shares back. Kia took a $5 loss. I got a $5 profit because I gave it back to her, or I bought it back for the $5 price. Okay. So there was a Reddit forum, which basically Reddit is just a forum of people to get on there, ask questions, talk to each other, whatever. They call it the dark web, right?
You better get on it. I'm on it.
Right.
Of course you
Hey,
are.
you never know what's out there. I'm just saying.
You
Get
never
on
know.
it.
You
You never know. Sign up for an account. Have a Reddit account. They talk about all type of stuff on there. But so what happened was one Reddit user realized that there was a hedge fund company. So basically, a hedge fund company is a bunch of billionaires and millionaires that get together and say, hey, we're going to gather assets all together. We're going to have our own funding company. We don't want to go through the Charles Schwabs and the Fidelities and TD Ameritrades of the world. We want to have our own outfit. We're going to gather pools of money and we're going to do our own investments based upon how we believe. So one Reddit user realized that a hedge fund had a bunch of short positions. Okay. So a lot of them thought that GameStop was going to go down. So they bought up like a ton of short positions. One Reddit user was like, hey, we don't want them to do that. The hedge funds can't take over this world. We're tired of the millionaires and the billionaires, blah, blah, blah. We want to go ahead and get in. So they started saying, everybody buy up GameStop. Power of social media, power of the internet. So what happened? Everybody started buying up GameStop. GameStop just started to go like this. Okay. It continued to do that. What happened is that short position got so wide that they were like, you know what? We need to cut our losses. And so what did they do? Gave the stock back, right? They had to buy it back, sell it back, or whatever. Okay. That pumped in more money into GameStop because they had to buy it at the higher price. So people were continuing to get profits. So it just continued to go up, up, and up. And so, again, Reddit users were like, well, let's get it up to 500. Let's just see if we can do it. Again, the power of the internet, the power of persuasion, right? In some terms, in some terms, you could look at it as peer pressure. Okay. But what they did is they kept pushing it up, pushing up, pushing it up. It finally got to where it needed to be, and then everybody jumped out. Okay. But there were people getting in when it was $400, $450, thinking they were going to make a profit. And then in one day, it snapped right back down to like 190. So they lost all that money and then some, right? So now you're in a hole.
It's definitely a timing thing.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is a timing thing. And where it is right now. So, the run of GameStop is over. But you have companies, let's see, like this is terrible. Now notice the high that GameStop ended up getting to was 483. 483. GameStop now is at $66.
Wow. Yeah, people lost
$66. People lost a ton of money.
Well, let me
hold on real quick. Let me tell you what happened. So you have this company, which I have always told people not to use them. Okay. And that was just me. I just always knew. I was like, there's something shady about this company. I don't like it. I never have. Right. That was just me, my spirit, whatever. So people kept getting with Robinhood. Robinhood was like, you know what? Robinhood was in cahoots with one of these hedge funds.
Yeah.
That had a lot of position. That hedge fund was paying in Robinhood. They bought into Robinhood. They were a angel investor, venture capitalist, or whatever. So Robinhood was benefiting from this whole situation, no matter what happened, because they were getting money from the hedge fund, but they're also getting fees from the Robinhood users. So they went in and said, okay, you know what? We're going to try to play the market and also help our friends and stop the positions.
But is that legal?
So it's a slippery slope. Okay. For all intents and purposes, if we're looking at the value behind it, and if I were the SEC, it's absolutely not legal. That's why they're being investigated right now. It is not legal. So let me tell you what happened to somebody that I know. They had 40,000 shares of GameStop.
Oh.
Okay. No, excuse me. Hold on. I'm sorry. Back up. 400 shares. 400 shares of GameStop. Either way it goes. 400 to 4,000. It's one of these numbers. It doesn't matter. They had a lot of shares. Damn it. They had a lot of shares of GameStop.
It included the number 4.
Right. So this is at the time when the shares were at, I want to say 450, 460.
Okay.
And he was about to sell all his positions. He said, you know what? I made enough money. It ended up being like $1.3 million. He was like, my profit is up there. I'm selling. Robinhood stopped him and said, we'll sell all of your positions, but at 183.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That has to be illegal.
That is not legal. Absolutely not. So he filed a class action lawsuit. A lot of other people did as well. I'm here to say Robinhood is very shady. It is what it is. Like I said, I've always told people not to get into Robinhood just because of their practices, how they kind of built that platform. They built their platform based off of, and this is just me being completely frank, based off of getting into the mindset of Black people and minorities and saying you should invest. You can invest with as little money as you have, but just keep investing. We're going to give you Robin snacks, right? So if Robinhood was so good, then when the hood needed Robinhood, why did you do us like this?
Because
right?
Robinhood was never actually for the hood.
Thank you. You still with Sheriff Nottingham. That's who you really were for, right?
Yeah.
The entire time. But Robin came into the hood and said, hey, we need to give back. So we're going to create this platform and, allow you to buy in at, fractional shares. You can use $1 and get what you need, yada, 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 but you also pay us a fee for it. Well, and then you have situations like this that happen.
Well, that's a question I wanted to ask you because, of course, especially now with social media, and probably as we're speaking right now, there's investment companies, starting up their business and their practices. Like, hey, I'll help you. Who do you trust? It's interesting because you have so many different ones. Of course, you have the Stash. I mean, if you have Cash App on your phone,
right.
there's a little thing there where you can do a little $5, investments here and here.
Right.
So many different ones. But then again, you have something as big. I'm figuring to myself, if a person just modestly are investing in Robinhood before the hoopla with GameStop, they're like, okay, I see it, kind of going up. And then all of a sudden this big thing happens and you're like, wow, you guys are shady. How do you prevent those things from happening? Because companies, I mean, they can't do that. I mean, they are, even though we say they can't. What do we do?
So for me, I go with the old adage of stick to what you know. Okay. So then you need to learn, right? Or you need to listen. Okay. But seriously, like stick to what you know, or at least find the information and get it, right? Get it from a valuable source. Whether it be myself, Kia, Ty, somebody that's a valuable source, or somebody that can get you or put you in the right hands, right? I always go with the basis of you can go with the big dogs because you know that they're going to be there, right? They have such a high capacity of people that they help. They're not necessarily trying to scam you over. Some of these newer companies that come in, they're doing it off of the wave, right? Yeah. That's all it is. It's the new hottest thing, right? TikTok. It's the new hottest thing. I don't even have TikTok. My kids got TikTok. Love TikTok. But it's the new hottest thing, right? People jump on that bandwagon. People jump on that wave. That's what some of these other companies are doing. I mean, even with PayPal, right? PayPal is allowing you to get Bitcoin right now. You can buy Bitcoin through your PayPal account.
Yeah.
So, so when I say, the big dogs of the world, I'm talking about your TD Ameritrade, your Charles Schwab's, your Fidelity, and your Vanguards, right?
The brands that you know.
Right. The brands that you know, right? Those four would not be a household name if Fortune 500 companies didn't use them for their 401k plans.
Got it.
Most of us know those names because when we log into our 401k, it says Fidelity, or it'll say TD Ameritrade, or say Charles Schwab, or Vanguard, or whoever, right? Or they recommend that you transfer to one of those entities. Then you don't see them saying, hey, transfer your money to Robinhood.
Right.
So they transfer to the companies that they believe in, because obviously these companies have done well, right, for themselves. And then, of course, you have the other ones like the Edward Jones of the world. JP Morgan Chase. So, Chase Investments, they have their own investment group. Merrill Lynch is with Bank of America. So again, trust the name that you know. If you get with an advisor is going to have a specific custodian that they use, right? So our agency, we use TD Ameritrade. I love TD Ameritrade. I always have, I always will. But for a long time, my personal portfolio was with Vanguard. But Vanguard limited me on the things that I wanted to do, as far as I wanted to get into IPOs, which is
I hate
initial public
Vanguard. I'm
offering.
sorry. I hate Vanguard.
Right. So Vanguard. So the one thing about Vanguard is old school. Like they have an old platform. They have an old mentality. They don't want to get with the times. Whereas somebody like TD Ameritrade, who is actually, I don't know if you know this, but is actually owned by Charles Schwab, and TD Ameritrade will eventually become Charles Schwab. They Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade, so they're all becoming one.
Really?
But
When you said that, I heard invest.
What'd you say?
When I heard that they're combining companies, I said invest. Okay.
Right, invest, right. So they ended up, buying that entity, and so they are going to become one. So eventually, everything's going to migrate over to the Charles Schwab platform. But TD Ameritrade was always with the times. They always wanted to, be with the movers and shakers and the thinkers of the world. And that's how you start to think about like Forex, right? Forex has gotten big. And the one thing that I want people to understand about Forex is, do not get into Forex underneath the multi-level marketing schemes. Get under Forex with the mindset of I want to trade foreign exchange, right? I want to trade dollars in yen or euro or whatever it may be. Like, that's Forex, foreign exchange. Don't start getting in these groups that are saying, hey, you can come under us and we'll teach you this, but you got to pay this amount, but you should get more people under you. Like, that's not the basis of it. If you're going to get with somebody because they're going to, naturally teach you what you're doing. Yeah. If you're going to get in a group, pay for them to teach you, not to recruit you. There's a big difference between the two.
Very true.
Pay for them to teach you, not to recruit you. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be left by the wayside, sitting here watching YouTube videos of these recordings of people saying, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And then again, you're right back in the same space of losing all your money. Okay. Foreign exchange is another risky avenue to get into.
Let's go to the comments real quick. If there's any. There are a few money personalities that suggest getting out of debt first, I guess, so that you don't end up liquidating it once an emergency hits. Do you wait or do both at the same time?
Cash, that is a very good question, man. I appreciate that one. So when it comes to, so what we believe and what we teach is, we want you to get out of debt before retirement. Okay. We know that you can't always get out of debt, and we know that it won't happen quickly, but that shouldn't deter you from investing, because yes, you should absolutely get out of debt and be out of debt, but that should be before you retire, right? Because if you spend so much time trying to get out of debt, well, when did you start investing? Right. So if you take all of your time saying, hey, you know what, I got this bill, and I'm not going to invest until I pay all this stuff off. Yeah, true. You might end up having $1,000 that you can invest in, but shit, you might be 60 at the time, right? And you got 2 years left, 6 years left. Well, if you would have started back in your 30s, even with a smaller amount, and then gradually increased as you pay things off, you would have did it better, right? So I took Dave Ramsey's approach. I kind of flipped it on his head, and we do something different, right? So, Dave Ramsey has the whole debt snowball, right? Mm-hmm. You list your debts in order from smallest to largest, and you pay it off that way. Okay. I flipped it on his head and said, hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to list your debt in order of the highest interest rates first, and then work your way down from there. Because if you're hitting the highest interest rates, you're then tackling the debt that makes the most sense. Because why am I paying the smallest amount, but I still have this high ass interest rate that I'm paying, right? The interest is continue to tack on. Yep. I rather tackle the highest interest rate with that smaller payment, pay that off, and then work my way down from there. Okay. So what you're saying is, or what you're doing now is you're saying, okay, that debt is paid off. I was paying $200 a month into that debt. I will now move into the next one. But since I have $200 free, now let me put that $200 into my investment. So you're still tackling both at the same time. As your debt goes down, the amount that you're investing increases up. Okay. So it's just an elevator approach, right? You start at the top, you work your way down on one side, and then you got, something else is working for you on this side. You have to make your money work for you.
Yeah.
But your money's going to start on different levels. Okay. Your money's going to start down here on the first floor, and you're starting at the top at your interest rate. At some point, it's going to meet in the middle, and then your investment is going to rise higher than your debt. But if you're just waiting for your debt to come down, what's your investment doing? It's staying at the bottom. Okay. It's not going anywhere. Then once you finally reach the bottom, okay, now I'm gonna work my way to the top. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but you could have been up here a long time ago. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's a method to the madness. You just got to stick with it. And again, we don't want to put the work in. We don't want to do it, right? We don't want to have somebody teach us that type of method and be an accountability partner, right? Then we
Right.
don't want to have somebody actually hold our feet to the fire. And that's what I do. That's what that's what my company does. That's what we do as a whole. We hold their feet to the fire.
He said that makes more sense to me when you explain why to attack high interest first.
Good.
Great.
Right, it does, Cash.
Thanks.
Wait, just real quick. If you're in the room, make sure you press the like button. Thank you. Sorry.
I have a comment here. Aquinas, people find the time and money to do what they really want because they spend $150 on shoes and purses and gadgets all the time. They don't have a savings, life insurance, or investments.
Okay, Quan, don't you get me started here. Okay,
No,
don't get me started.
She
All right.
did get started.
Listen, Ms. Brown.
It's true. It's true. I mean, go ahead.
So if the amount of people realize that those $200 Jordans, okay, those $200 Jordans, if you took that same amount of money in that $200 Jordans and invested that into Nike, right, what that money would be today.
Can you say that? Can you say it again? Say
Absolutely.
it louder.
Well, for the people in the back, because the people in the back don't hear.
Okay. I gotta turn the fan on. I'm getting hot in here. You know what I'm saying? Okay, listen. If you took that same amount of money, right? That same $200 that you spent on the Jordans. I'm not saying don't get it one time, yes, but every single time that they come out, right? Every single time a new pair, a new edition, and all they're doing is just changing the colors. You know, that's it. But if we took that same $200 and invested that into Nike, now you are an owner of Nike. Now you have ownership in Nike. You can damn near say, y'all wearing my shoes now. I can say, hey, you know what? You wearing my shoes because I own a piece of this company. A part of that shoe is mine, right? A piece of that shoestring is mine. You wearing me. And that's how I want people to, to think, even when, because Ty, this is one thing that we're going to talk about. But when we talk to these business owners, right? Why are we buying somebody else's last name? I want you to think about it like that. When you go to the store, you go to Walmart, you're buying somebody else's last name, right? You're buying Sam Walton. You're buying his last name. You're making that company, that family wealthy, right? Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, right? Red Bottom, what is it? Louis Vuittons or whatever it may be, right? You're buying that last name. Kate Spade, okay? Yep. All of them, you're buying into that last name. Why do you think I made my company my last name? Because I want you to buy into my last name, my generational wealth for my kids to bridge that type of environment. Buy into my last name.
In my company, my first name.
See, there you go. So stop buying into other people and get your products out there, get your service out there, and let people buy into you, right? I put this up on Instagram a while ago, but you have $1 million idea sitting here in your head, right? Whatever it may be, it's $1 million right here. But until you pluck it out, right? Until you bring it out, put it on pen and paper, make it real, make a game plan to get there, you're never going to get there. Mm-hmm. You're never going to get there.
I want to make a comment real quick. I want to say this. So there may be listeners now or even later after the Super Bowl is over, and they say, well, I don't buy no Jordans for $200 and I don't like Kate Spade. Well, for the weed smokers out there, because I know there's a whole lot of weeds. How about you invest in cannabis, CBD oil, all types of other stuff? Because you're smoking somebody else's stuff when you need to be getting paid too, so you can buy your product. But that's what happened to smoke. Why?
It's a fact.
Anywho, let me go to the next. So we talked about another option instead of Robinhood. You mentioned that. Okay.
Yes. Stash. Stash is an option if you don't have the money to buy a full share of something. I have Stash personally myself. So I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't have it myself. But for me, it's Stash if you don't have the money to buy a full share of something. If you do, you got to go with one of the big dogs, right? TD Ameritrade, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, Fidelity.
Okay. Then we have Liz says, like Congresswoman Omar said, they need jail time. And I think she was in reference to them putting a fault on people's not being able to sell. I was shocked when that happened. And I'm glad that she reminded me to mention what I was going to say. I seen a episode on it was NBC or maybe Fox News. It was one of those news agencies, and they were basically saying that the new generation is starting to invest, and they said don't do it. They said because you're losing time, quality time with your family and stuff, because literally you're on your cell phones and you're looking at these stocks go up and down, and you're already out of touch because you're on your cell phone, but now you're looking at stocks. Don't do it. These are opportunities and times where you could be spending with your friends and skateboarding. And I was like, wait a second, did he just say don't do it?
They are discouraging, yeah.
So I want to ask you, in my mind, it was kind of like he was saying, don't do it because you're going to take away money from my pockets. Do you think it was kind of like this is going to be a new trend? Because now that we had a whole big, bust with GameStop and other different entities, this is catching on as a trend. Do you think a lot of people are going to be panicking now because we're going to end up coming for these big time people with money and taking money out of their pockets?
Absolutely. So I definitely do. I won't say that, there's a couple of different ways that you can take that statement, right? You can take that statement of get your head out your phone, focus on family, right? Again, shameless plug, right? Get you an advisor that can invest for you. That's what they do, right? That's what I do all day, every day. People ask me, what do I do for a living? I say, I play with money. That's literally what I do. I play with other people's money all day. You give me a set amount of money, I invest it, I watch it, I make sure that it grows, I make sure it does what it does. It incentivizes me. If your money grows, why would I not want your money to grow? It continues to help me. It continues to pay my lights and everything else. It continues to make sure my kids have a good living. Right. So that you could take it from that standpoint. Get yourself an advisor. Put your money where it goes. Let your advisor do what you do, and you can spend more time with family. Because too many people are getting in this mindset of I need to invest myself. I need to learn so much about it and be so entrenched in it so I can do it myself. But damn it, you're not Superman. You can't do everything. Right? You're not Superwoman. You can't do it all on your own. We have to understand how leveraging works. Leverage other people. Leverage people for their services. If you're smart, right, and you own a business, then you will realize that paying me is a tax write-off. Paying me helps you not pay taxes. And then I'm trying to also make your money grow tax-free so you can continue to do more things.
But
Stay
again,
with me,
I
right?
think if we had more people that look like the people that we want to invest and educate, maybe they will be more open to trust in the system.
Which is true.
We're still talking about a system that was put in place for none of us to really get rich. And we're seeing this through what just happened. Yeah. So again, we're encouraging our people invest. And why are you so scared? It's not that I'm scared. I'm cautious because I don't trust the people that don't look like me.
And I have to say something about that statement, Ty, because it is February the 7th, 2021. And I have a lot of trust issues. And even if I have a lot of trust issues, that don't stop me from making money or at least jumping on an opportunity.
There you go.
It takes money to make money.
But they may not see it that way.
But listen,
you know what I'm saying?
But even if you don't see it that way, your path, your route that you've been taking for umpteenth years have got you $0.
Exactly.
You are broke. I tell this all the time. The average Black person lives behind the poverty line.
Yeah.
So all this that we're doing, and I'm scared, well, who are you and what's going on? My ninja, you are broke.
Yep. And keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna get you where you are.
You will eat cat food when you're 65. You'll be dependent upon the system. At the end of the day, I've been there, done that. I know how to get out of that. I'm learning every chance that I get. And now we have computers. Before it was like, I don't know. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I'm talking to all y'all on a computer. We have the computer on our phone. There's so many methods. So when a person, especially if I'm talking to my seniors, especially if a person is my elder and they talking about they scared and it's 2021, I'm just like, well, I'm just going to have to part ways because at the end of the day, you can't change that mindset.
Yeah. And that's what we need to change. Yeah, that's like the biggest, that's the number one factor, changing the mindset of why it's so important to invest. Again, like we discussed last time, why they have all these gun violence programs in the hood People
Mm-hmm.
don't have insurance to cover these expenses, but we still are not educating people on how to get the money to be able to get life insurance to be able to cover these expenses.
Exactly.
We are missing the mark. And we know we're missing the mark, but we're still not doing well, I don't want to say we're not doing anything about it, because we're doing something now. It starts now with educating our people. You know what? If you have someone like Dr. King McCray, print stuff off of one of his pages, put it in the hood at one of the bodegas, throw the information out there. The same way we would do with these anti-vaping campaigns, anti-drug and alcohol, marijuana. Why can't we do a campaign the same way to promote investment for ourselves, our bloodline, and our people, and most importantly, our community? Because like you said, if I don't invest, that means I'm not getting the money back to contribute to the community, to contribute to the bigger picture of society. So why would you stop us from doing that? We are broke. So if we're trying to get money, let us get our money up so we could contribute and let it flow.
Right. And I mean, that's one thing that we as a whole need to start looking at, because I want you guys to realize what I have to go through, right? Being in this industry. Okay. I'm a young Black man in this industry. When I walk into a household, I have all of 30 seconds to make sure that they love me. Okay. 30 seconds. What do you think the first thing that comes out of my mouth is? My name is Doctor. Okay. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on the education that I have and how I brought myself to be here. So, let's strip away the color of my skin. Let's strip away the beard, right? Let's strip away the earrings and everything else. And now I am just a regular human being, right? But I can't take those layers away. This is who I am. Okay. At the end of the day, this is me. Could I shave my beard? Absolutely, right? But I'll look 12 years old. Okay. So let's take that out the picture, right? I'm not gonna bleach my skin. Hell, I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm not going through that round, right? So when I look at the things that I have to go through, the hoops that I have to jump, I am constantly having to prove myself in this industry every single day. Yep. But you know who I have to prove that to?
Yep.
My own damn race.
It's sad.
Every day. Like, why should I even have to prove? Well, you sure you know about money? Well, hell, damn it, I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker to say that. I always say that I never, and this is just me, I never take advice for anybody that can't show and prove. I know a lot of people will give advice. Oh, let me tell you that you broke. I ain't listened to a damn thing you're saying. No, I'm serious. And sometimes this is unfiltered. No, and sometimes people can really have some decent advice, and I wouldn't do it like this because through my experience, okay, I'll be shaking my head, and yes, it's so true. I wouldn't listen to a damn thing. And that's for a lot of things, oh yeah, and my marriage is this, and I'll be like, wait a second, wasn't you there on the side? I ain't listening to a damn thing. But no, and that's for me, because I feel like if you're living it, you know what I'm saying, and you can show it. And not saying that people who don't have money don't have these different skills and these tools, but they're not doing what they need to do.
It's the trust factor. I get if you ain't handling your business, then how do you expect me to believe that you're going to give me the correct information to handle mine?
Exactly.
And what's sad about it is, there are some times where I have to go into a household and I have to show my account, right? I got to show what my investments look like. I have to show what my return is.
Wow.
Just to prove that I know what I'm talking about, or I got to come in with another client statement and, with information blacked out and say, hey, this is what I did. But you should see my name, right, as the wealth manager on the side. So you know that it was me that did this. But that's just the mindset that I have to, those are the hurdles that I have to overcome. And the sad thing about it is, again, it's with our own people. Like I'm working with a guy now out of Miami, and I know for a fact that the other advisor that he's working with is white, saying it is what it is. But he's not grasping the concept of what I'm trying to tell him. Even when I've run all the numbers, even when he sees how much their management fee is versus mine, even when he sees my portfolio versus theirs, ours backcasted and tested a lot better, so on and so forth, he's still not grasping the concept.
Wow.
He's paying tens and thousands of dollars every single year to lose money when I am trying to put you in an opposite position for a fraction of the cost.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I mean, honestly, it's the way of the world. So I continue to do what I do because I love what I do, right? I love money. I hate math, but I love money. And I love educating people and understanding how to manage their money a lot better. And we, as a generation, being all in the same generation, right? We as a race, as minorities, like we have to do better. Number one, with working with each other. Don't give me these BS excuses about, oh, Black people don't know how to run a business. You a damn lie, because I've gotten 3 of them and I know how to run them very well, right? Don't give me these excuses of, oh, we don't know how to work together. We do. We can if you choose to, right? Our dollar, the Black dollar, is the strongest dollar. I don't care what anybody says, right?
Yes.
I'll put that up to any test any day of the world, right? Because if we took our dollar out of some of these high-end stores, right, and put it into Black-owned companies, right, or Black-owned banks, you would see how much and how far our value goes. But we have to stand on our own purpose. And again, I said this early in the show, you have to realize the value within yourself in order for you to be wealthy. Until you do that, you're never going to prosper and get anywhere. So, when you talk about debt and everything else.
It's interesting when I hear you say that. I'll say this when you talk about Black business owners. I'll say that through my experience, in order for a Black business owner to have big clientele, to go very far, the experience level has to be there. I have ran into some ones like I might need to take these earrings off and beat your ass because you talking to the wrong person. I'm gonna snatch his hair out and we're gonna be doing it because
I get it.
It literally gets real. And you're like, wait, you representing the business real quick? I mean, but I think, like you said, it's the mindset. The last episode we had, the personal trainer said you have to have that reason why. And I think that reason why has to be there. And once we find that why, I think it will change, because I've ran into people who will have life insurance and then it lapses. And you're juggling between, wait, do I pay that bill or do I pay my life insurance?
You better get you some damn candles. Get you some candles and pay that life insurance.
But hear what I'm saying. So I think you have to have, once you find that reason why, is when you finally start changing that mindset and doing better. And I'm so grateful for you being here and taking this opportunity just to talk to us. Like I said, when people say, man, you want to be competing with the Super Bowl? I'm not competing with the Super Bowl.
Not at all.
They're rich already.
If anything, you need to be competing with your own bank account, right?
For real.
You need to compete with that.
I'm trying to make some money. And I think that the struggles that we have are every day, 24/7, 365 experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Next Sunday is my anniversary, and I will be going live on my anniversary. I don't care if love is in the air or not. At the end of the day, this is more, you know what? Because there's a bigger picture. Helping our people is a very big picture, and there's no time to waste. So I definitely thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Can you please let people know where we can reach you at or anything, once again, if they join late?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So again, my name is Dr. King McCray. Company is McCray Wealth Management. You can actually go to www.creatingyourwealth. Okay. Excuse me. Hold on. I apologize. Because we just recently did some changes. So www.creatingyourwealth. Yeah, Creating Your Wealth. CreatingYourWealth.org, not .com.org, because we are an organization. Okay, creatingyourwealth.org. You can also get in contact me via Instagram. I am at _financial doctor. So _financial doctor. Or of course, you can always call the office. That is area code 407-602-8641. Or of course, you can always reach out to my lovely ladies of Kia and Ty, and they will get you in contact with me. And I always give a very, very high end discount on my services for Mothers Unfiltered people. So feel free.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Ty, do you have anything to say?
I don't think so. just thank you again, everyone. Like, subscribe, share, you know the routine.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. McCray, you and I will be speaking very
Yes.
soon.
We got a lot of people to help. Yes.
Yeah.
One last question. I swear I was gonna ask, but I forgot it. How do you know when to sell your trade?
That's gonna be okay. So this is what I do. When I get into an investment, okay, so you have to understand what a stop loss is or a sell limit. Okay. When you want to put in a stop loss or a sell limit, let's say you get in at $100. You have the mindset of I'm only willing to lose $10 in this investment. So when this thing goes to 90, I want to sell, right? That's when I want to sell. But you can take your profit at any time. That's just depending on when you feel like it's going to go up, and you should sell it. But I always put mine in with the premise of I'm only willing to lose about 10% of my value, right?
Yeah.
So again, if you get in at $100, put in a sell limit or a stop loss at $10, excuse me, at $90. That way it'll trigger at 90 and it'll immediately sell right thereafter. So you can kind of limit your loss. Or you can go ahead and put in, your sell limit at a higher peak. Let's say you get in at $100 and you know you want to sell it at 200 and it hits 200, boom, it automatically trigger and sell. Right. That way you don't have to worry about it. So you can set it on autopilot like that. Right. Or again, obviously just get somebody that's going to help you out and make it known. Just call me and we'll say, hey, we'll figure this thing out once you pull out. If that really is going to depend on how young you are as well. So if you're in your 30s and you got stocks, I mean, quite naturally, unless a company's about to go under, they're going to continue to grow over the next 30 years. So grow with them, right? If you get in with these companies underneath what's called their IPO, which again is their initial public offering, I just got in on a couple of those brand new companies. They're going to be around for a long time, right? I've already got probably 46, 50. One of the companies I got like 110% profit. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just let me know. I got you. And it's still growing, right? It's still growing, like you said.
Words, I jump on.
Right. For all my weed smokers out there, I'm not saying get into marijuana stocks, right? But get into marijuana distributors or manufacturers that make the items, right? How do you grow weed? Well, you need the plants and the lights and all that other jazz, right? The lighting company, I got in another IPO. It's called Hydrofarm. I'm gonna give y'all that one for free. It's called Hydrofarm. Hydrofarm. HYFM is the ticker. HYFM. I got in on that at $20 a share. I'm gonna let y'all do the research to see where it is right now. Okay, Hydrofarm.
You know what I got on? I had a little buzz talk about invest in silver, and I was silver, and I was like, wait now, it's doing something for me. My hands started itching and stuff.
Yes, I mean, silver and gold are still going to be those commodities, right? Those things that you can get for a long period of time, and do very well depending. I mean, right now I think gold kind of went down, oil kind of went down, and then it bounced back up. So it just really depends. But yeah, check out Hydrofarm, HYFM. This is definitely going to be a good one to get in. Like I said, I got in at $20. So.
Well, I'm just putting it out there. When you over there drinking your pina colada on your yacht, you'll be like, "That key?" I'm like, "Yes, sir."
There you go. Oh, you listened, huh? That's what I'm.
I don't play.
Yeah. No,
but
definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing just a droplet of knowledge. And if anybody have any questions or whatever, please feel free to contact him. Please feel free, if you didn't get the information, it went by too fast, contact one of us. Go on the Facebook page as well.
Watch the video again. Feel free to make sure you soak up all.
Again, I know I'm promoting, but not just for us, but seriously, guys, promote this video, share the video. This is important, not just for you, but for our community. Again, like we share everything else. We share these stupid memes, be sharing all this, but information like this, we don't share. Get this information out there. It's helping everybody. Let's do what we do. Let's stick together.
And I hope your team is going to win the Super Bowl if you happen to be following.
And who is the Chiefs and the Buccaneers?
Yeah. I'm a Lions fan, but whatever. All right.
There you go.
Bye, guys.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right, bye.